understand it?
That's what you're going to try to find out.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, start classroom.
Hi, Ed. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Do you remember my name?
No.
My name is Miss Amanda, and I will be working with you today on the two days with no phone. So you read the article, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember from it?
I have to be honest with you. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember things after I read them,
Same too.
but it
So,
looks like it's kind of a bad problem for people.
well, I know that we have questions to answer. So how about we look over the questions first, and then we can look at the article, and that way we can pick out what they want to know. How does that work?
Sounds good, man.
Okay, so you have a piece of paper with 2 questions on them. Would you read the questions for me, please?
What effect might too much testing have on student relations?
Mm-hmm. And the next one?
What is sleep texting?
Right, good job. So for the first one, it basically says, like, what are basically the side effects of texting and how can that influence students' relationships? Does that make sense?
What do you mean when you say influence?
So that's a very good question. Like a side effect. So do you know what caffeine is?
Yes, ma'am. Is that coffee?
Yeah, so it's in coffee, and so when you drink it, it has a side effect of having more energy and being more enthusiastic, right? So if you have coffee and you have more energy, okay? And so with texting, this question's asking if they text too much, what could be the result with a student's relationship? So we need to find out how texting influences or is like a side effect of these students' relationships. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, I think so. So it means, what is it like for them and their friends and family?
Exactly. So you got this. And the next question is, what is sleep texting? Do you remember what that is from reading?
I know that it was like the words were bigger, like sleep texting was one of the, see here it says in big words, sleep texting.
Mm-hmm. So that's a whole category. So we're gonna read through the assignment and we're gonna try to do our best to pick out what the answers could be. So do you want to start with sleep texting and kind of work our way up?
Did you want me to read that chapter?
So under sleep texting, I would love for you to start with both Francesca and Kenny.
Okay. Both Francesca
Mm-hmm.
and Kenny told us they woke up several times during the night to text. Kevin sleeps with his phone beneath his pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dowdle said that it's common for teen sleep to be interrupted by text.
Yep, so sometimes when they get a text message, they'll wake up. So their sleep is interrupted.
Sometimes teens send texts filled with nonsense
Mm-hmm.
words when they wake up all the way. She has been studied this, which she calls sleep texting.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. So what you just read Do you know what nonsense means?
Yes, like silly.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a trend called sleep texting. And so what in that paragraph that you just read states what sleep texting is?
Um, when you text when you asleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right. So what part of that paragraph is evidence? Do you know what evidence means?
Yeah, because my mom watches like CSI and stuff like that.
All right. So you want like proof, right? If you're watching CSI and someone gets, I don't know, robbed, you want like a video camera. Like you want something that's solid that you can go back to, right? So what evidence is in that paragraph that we can go back to, that we can see that it's interrupted by a text?
Because it says the doctor said that it's common for teen sleep to be interrupted by text.
Perfect. So for the second question on our Cite Your Evidence, what would we put in the response for what is sleep texting?
When teens sleep gets interrupted.
And when their sleep gets interrupted, what do?
Right, nonsense text.
Yes. So maybe you could write that down for the response as to what is sleep texting. Their sleep gets interrupted and they end up writing a nonsense text.
Okay.
And then under text evidence, that's where you would put that specific paragraph that states Dr. Doyle says that it's common for teen sleep to be interrupted by text. So that's your evidence, right? That's your solid logic.
So do I count the lines down?
Yeah, sure. So what I would do is I would put the page number. And so it's on page 5. And then I would put under sleep texting. And so that way you have what page it's on and like where to locate it in the page.
And I want me to count the lines down.
You can, yeah. That's a good idea. It clarifies any questioning, right?
For 10 down here. Right.
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to go on to question 1. Oh my gosh, really? Yes. We're going to go on to question 1. And so what effect, so remember like what side effect would too much texting have on relationships? So when you read the section with teens in trouble, do you remember what that said?
It said that, I'm just looking over it again because it's hard for me to remember some stuff like that.
Okay.
But it said they're not learning the right way to talk.
Mm-hmm. Right, because their texting is improper. Like, so sometimes instead of using like the word Y, they might use the letter Y.
Right.
And what else did it say? Like some teens that text too much. What else happens to them?
It looks like they don't talk to their family or their friends that much.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. You got it. So under your response, that's what you can put.
So would I put that as my response?
Mm-hmm. So there's 2 sections to fill out, and one is response. So you would put what you just told me. You summarized it very well. And you said that they might not hang out with their families, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would put that down. And then under text evidence, you would go back and you would cite page 5, and you could say teens in trouble, and then you can say how many lines that states where you found that.
What if I found, because there was two things I found, so would I write, like, because the third line talked about not spelling right?
Mm-hmm. So
and
the question says, what does it have on a student's relationship? So spelling
then,
isn't necessarily with relationships, but that's a very good point.
okay, so
Pause session.